This is going to be pretty much my last of my tidbits that I'm going to do, and I'm going to make this my own personal little life story. Because the real secret and surprise of my own personal life story is what sudden reality and bubble burst was all about. And the key words is sudden reality. I want to make this clear. I don't like human beings. When I say that, I ain't trying to be, I'm being straight up forward and honest with you. I do not like human beings. I don't like any of you. And that's where the key comes in. That's where the key, when you actually hear what I've got to say about where it all starts and where it's all going to be ending for me now. It ends with sudden reality. My time, my purpose on this terrarium, well, you call it a planet, but this terrarium you call the Earth, my purpose is coming to an end. But it all has a beginning. And I want to make a real quick summary of my own personal life to give you a little hint of what sudden reality really was all about. What sudden reality really had to, what it really had to tell you, and what you're all going to miss out on. Because you are going to miss out on it, because you're designed to miss out on it. The bubble burst video was an introduction to the lighted womb. The lighted womb has never been spoken of on planet Earth. The lighted womb has never been introduced to the planet of the Earth. You can't find it in your history books. You can't find it in your doctrines. You can't find it anywhere. But yet one person puts it all together in a little video called Bubble Burst, and puts an alignment of everything to show you the deceptions of the Earth, to put it all together so you can see from deception there is inception. There is a place called the lighted womb that has been hidden from the human race, because you be in the dark womb. You be existing in a nightclub of nightmares, a prison of sorrows, a dungeon of deceit. This place is not what you ever thought it was. Your existence is not what you ever thought it was. And as I said that a second ago, you can't touch that person that you were 1 second ago no more than you could touch yourself at 5 years old. It's part of the memory banks. Your physical fields change by the second. You'll never understand where you truly are. You are designed not to understand, but to actually be as dual connection beings. You experience the environment of your body and the environment of what you call your Mother Earth. Your environment. 2 environments, 2 connections. The environment of your body, the environment of the Earth. And everything within the environment of the Earth, all the rest of the humans. You experience them collectively. You think your physical being gives life to the dream world. The dream world is in the energy fields above. It is the spiritual dream world that gives life to the physical world. It is the invisible that gives life to the visible. It is the immaterial that gives life to the material. This is what you fail to understand. You were once a speck of air inside the womb, and that speck of air, the invisible, gave life to what is now visible that you see in a mirror. Yeah, you'd be a miracle in the sense that you started as an invisible molecule, an atom, a cell, a speck of air inside the womb, be created into what you look into a mirror. You don't appreciate a miracle when you look at a miracle. You think in a mirror, that's the mundane. No, that'd be the miracle. You missed it, but you're missing a lot. So this is my little short life story, and I'm going to make it quick. I'm going to make it simple. And then here comes the real secret you all missed, because you all been being watched. 7 billion of you have been being watched for almost 5 decades. I got a little secret I want to relay to you, and I'm going to tell you, the bubble burst videos were just a little piece of what the secret is. And I'm at that point now, where now it's safe to say, my little secret. It starts off with my entering the terrarium of the Earth. I wasn't even born for more than a half an hour. I'd already had a circumcision. And all of a sudden, a nice little nurse decides to press real evil onto my groin because you're crying. And then within 24 hours, I've already got a damn surgery for a hernia. Welcome to planet fucking Earth and their beautiful species that refer to themselves as fucking angels. Bullshit. Kiss my ass. Shut your anus. If you don't like what I got to say, go fuck yourself. Let me make this fucking perfectly clear. That was my entry. By the time I was 3 years old, I had retarded parents laughing about the fact I'm speaking with beings in my room. I couldn't speak English. So when they asked me, who the hell were you mumbling with? I say the mms because I could hear the humming sound. So if you hear humming, you're just making a sound. But I was dealing with those beings that the people in the East refer to as the Jinn and the Winjonas, or what the people in the West go, they're from outer space, from another planet. I know I saw them in our own clouds, but they're not really from our environment. They must have came from another place. Way far beyond the Earth. Okay, sure. Let me make something clear. Those Jinn Winjona spiritual beings, they be real. And I don't really give a rat's ass. People go, okay, well, I've never seen it. Well, that's because you're fucking stupid. Maybe you're not fucking righteous enough to see them. So shut your anus, maybe you just don't matter. How about we leave it at that? If you didn't see him, you don't fucking matter. Shut your anus. Game over. I don't want to talk to you about what reality is because you're too fucking stupid to grasp it. You can't even grasp the fact you started as a goddamn speck of air. Shut your anus. You don't know shit. So I'm going to tell you something. Human beings, as you call yourselves, you refer to yourselves as humanity, but from way above, beyond the plateau of this terrarium, you look down into this place, you can hear the horror of war. You can hear the screams, the sounds of misery and crying. You know you be talking about demonity. Let me make clear. Make your skin go transparent for 1 second, you see the inner design, the mucousy organs, bloody veins, the skeleton. You get the idea of demonity. It's easy to get mad. Why? Because you're made of negative charged energy from the soils below. The soils produce everything that produce you. They produce the apples, the tree. The trees produce the oranges, the grapes. They produce everything, the wheat that you eat. They produce even the animals create themselves by eating the herbs and blades of grass from the soils below. You are made of the negative charged energies of the black soils, which is why your human retinas, your animal retinas, your birds' retinas, everybody be black to experience the contrast of the colors of the earth. That is because you're made of the soils. You don't understand your second DNA strand. Well, they got them wrapped up on medical caduceus and so on. It's your second strand of DNA was shown to me at the age of 3 in a hologram. They took my human father, made the eyes, made the hairs, made the teeth disappear, and I saw the vertebrae of a human worm. Your skin is created from the worms below, which is why when you find a carcass, a dead carcass inside of a casket within a matter of time after death, it's riddled with worms. Let me make something clear. The secret be coming. I was only 5 years old, and I was already telling my parents stuff they couldn't have imagined. They tried to send... The only time I'd ever gone to a damn Sunday school church or even heard of a word called a Bible was one time, so you could get free swimming classes. They sent me to a Catholic school church. And when they told me about the man that died on a cross, I told the bitch, I said, you're full of shit. That ain't no fucking sacrifice. That's called murder. And number 2, that wasn't even the real name. I wasn't invited to go swimming. And I got a friend to fucking prove that. He's still alive named Shane. And he was with me when we were 6 years old. And I can tell you straight up, it gets better because when I was a teenager, I had 2 friends named Jerry and Larry. And they asked me, can I actually tell them what they're thinking? What they're thinking. They wrote it down 100 times in a row. I got them all right 100 times. I tell them when there was no cell phones, when there was no call display, who was calling for who, whether it was for their mother, for their aunt, whatever it was. I was telling them this stuff and they couldn't figure it out. I was telling people what they were thinking. A guy named Darren, he's thinking of sending a letter. I told him that. He couldn't believe it. Yeah, I can actually read your thoughts. They play out on the screen. Most of the people have known me have hated my guts because they say, we can't have any privacy with you. You know what's going to happen before it happens. You know what we're going to say before we say it. It sickens us. My only one relationship in my life, my only woman that I've ever been in a relationship with, couldn't stand being with me because I knew what they were going to do. I knew what the kids were going to do. I knew what her parents were going to do before they did it, what they said before they said it. And it drove her nuts. That's why I can't have relationships, never have been able to have relationships. And I'm going to tell you, it gets a little better in my little life here. My life story gets better. I've been battling with the Pharisees, as you call them, or pardon me, police. They used to be called Pharisees in the Bible. And anybody goes, well, a Pharisee wasn't a cop. You better read the chapter 26 in Acts in verse 10 when it starts off with Mr. Pharisee Saul before he converts to Paul, and he admits to King Agrippa what he did as a Pharisee when he laid charges on people, went on stand and he'd give evidence against people, and he'd imprison people. You better understand Pharisees were cops. I've been battling them since I was 3 years old. I have a cousin named Joe who was there when I actually, at the age of 3, dung a cop right between the eyes with a rock at the age of 3. I've been fighting with those guys since the beginning. I don't know any different because that's all I know. Because they be the biggest hypocrites in this world. They be causing the most grief. Let me say something to you. My life gets a little bit crazier as it goes. I've been battling cops. They've been trying to frame me on things. They lose. They take me to Queen's Bench. They lose. They can't fulfill their objective. They lie. They have to even break audio evidence and video evidence because they try to frame me, and it don't work for them. So they break the Crown Prosecutor and the cops have to break the evidence, the audio 911 evidence and the video evidence of an impound lot that shows evidence to the contrary to protect their asses because they lie. Let me say something. Cops are total jokes. They've been easy for me to be able to battle because they're fucking stupid as fuck. And so are the jokers calling themselves judges, court guards, lawyers, fucking teachers, social workers. Everyone in the institution of illusions has been a joke. Let me tell you something. You're the workers of iniquity. You're nothing better than that. You cause more problems than you solve. You always have. You've always been regarded as the bad guys. You still are. Let me make something clear. I will never conform to humanity. I've been an outlaw of the earth since I arrived here. I'll be an outlaw until I leave. And I'd be an outlaw of your social fucking parameters right now. Let me make something clear about sudden reality. I want to make something clear. I want to make it as clear, as crystal clear as possible. You think Bubble Burst was to entertain you? You think it was to educate you, to give you a little bit more wisdom, that there might be something called the lighted womb beyond the impenetrable field? The impenetrable field called the new Van Allen radiation belt. You think that maybe if you're in the dark womb, there might be an opposite place like the Chinese call the yin and the yang? You know, you stupid beings, I better make clear to you, there's been a place that's been available, and the beacons have been up there saying the light's up here. You want out? It's up here. When people die, they go, I had this mystical experience. I entered the light. I felt loved. They think maybe it was a sun, maybe it was a god. No, it's your true, real being. Who you're reconnecting to is you. You're still stuck up there. And in the midfields of the spirit dream world, that's where you start to create this new illusion of this physical body. You know, you got that movie called Avatar, your thoughts projected to another body being, and you animate that body being by your thoughts. Well, it's the same ideal, same principle. You humans are fucking dumb species. It's not your fault. You're designed that way. I can't actually blame you. I can't stand you. I hate you. But I can't blame you for being that way. Now, here's where my story gets a little better. Yeah, the cops did everything they could. They tried to make it so I couldn't practice any kind of law representation. Of course, they tried to destroy my family. They tried to do everything in 2009. They lose. It gets a little better. I have a friend named Bill. Take him to Jasper. He don't want to believe it, but I split the clouds in front of him in a flash flood. And the star's way bigger than what they ever seen. He starts screaming, I'm not worthy. Let me say, my life's got a couple of little twists and turns that most people could never imagine happening. Even when I was 7, in front of my own parents, I fell off of a roof, and I'm hanging upside down in midair, and I didn't crack my head on the cement blocks, but I held back that much. What do you call that? Levitation? Upside down, in front of human eyes. My little stories get a little bit more advanced as you go here. Why do I know about the lighted womb that no human in human history has ever written about, talked about, nothing? Why do I know of an opposite spectrum beyond the dark womb? This dark womb you exist in. Why do I know about it? Because of a simple atom, a molecule that separates me from you. You be dual connection beings. You're connected to two environments, the environment of the earth and the environment of your human physical experience. I have 3 connections, 3 atoms. I'm still remaining connected to the lighted womb. I know of its existence, and because of that, I'll overcome all the deceptions within the earth, all the deceptions from the inhabitants and their bullshit lies, from their governance, from their bullshit medias, from their bullshit everything, from their bullshit in their homes. I can tell when a human's lying to me as soon as I sit down with them in 2 seconds. That's how easy your species is for me to read. I can't stand your species because to me, you're lower than the animals. The animals can do things you can't. Hell, even the insects do that. You've got to imitate insects to feel powerful. You make movies of superheroes that have bat-like features, ant-like features, Spider-Man features. You have to imitate insects to feel powerful. I don't like your species. Your opinionated, arrogant, flatulent opinions piss me off. Your unintelligent, belligerent, fucking ignorant opinions piss me off. And I can't stand anything about your religions. Because if you just take the fat away and look at the meat, you get your answers. You put them all together like little jigsaw pieces to you get the puzzle put together. You see the picture. You're dumb. You're dumb beings. You don't see the total picture. And that's why you've been stuck here for so damn long. You call it reincarnation. You leave your body. You start to reattach to another physical body of some form. And you re-experience physical experience in the physical fields. And you go, well, I can't remember what it was before. It's because you're dual connection beings. You lose the connection to the former being. You can't remember. Sometimes when they're kids, they remember. And you've got thousands of, what do they call the labels? Scientific doctors that do the reports and they research these kids and go, yeah, we found the place that he said he used to be and who he used to be. And we found out that really existed. He's got reincarnative memory. You know what? All of the thumbprints of all of your experiences and evidences are right in front of you. You can't put the damn things together for yourself because you're dumb, and that's because you're designed that way. Not your fault. I don't blame you. There's a species that created your design from their own DNA. They're from beyond the North Arctic, and I'll tell you something. They've been playing your gods all along. And my favorite, well, the Jinn. They speak of the crown of the Jinn. These are these lighted beings, these spirits on fire, but there's no burning. And then in the Bible, Moses meets some burning bush that doesn't really create fire. Same angel of light, same pattern. You know, you don't put things together. Your problem is you love to segregate. You like to make differentiations between our Lord's better than your Lord when they're the same Lord. It's the same shit, same story. Let me tell you something. Of all of your doctrines and religions and concepts, you've got these Christians and the Buddhas and the Moses and you got the Mohammeds and you've got all Zoroaster. All you have, only thing you've got is a bunch of earthly beings being earthly prophets, earthly avatars, earthly kings, whatever you want to call them, earthly deities, earthly lords and earthly gods. You've only got one being who ever said, I'm not from your world. I'm not from this dark womb. I'm not from here. Not like your prophets, not like your gods, not like your avatars and deities. I'm not from your spectrum. And yet somehow you go, well, he's just some long-haired guy. He's skinny and he's 33 years old. Let me tell you something. Those of you who follow religions of Christianity, Catholicism, pardon me, and even those of you, the Jehovah's Witnesses, well, we know Jehovah's real, and we know this and that because we follow Jehovah. We're a witness. Shut your anus. You really need to shut your fucking anus because I'm going to tell you something. If you took 2 seconds out to take the fat out of the book and look at the meat of it, you know, for every goddamn one handful of truth, you're going to get 2 handfuls of lies. Humans do that. They take something very ordinary, they make something supernatural out of it. They take something miraculous, they look for scientific explanation because that's the mentality of the mundane human's mindset. You can't handle truth. So I'm going to tell you something. The being you refer to incorrectly as Jesus, whose name was never Jesus, and that person never appreciated the concept of a Christ. The Christ concept of being the anointed gift of the Dark Lord. When the being you speak of, you call Jesus in your own scripture, your own verses, 1.5 billion copies out there, and 1.5 billion you say you read it. John 8:44. John 8:44 sums it all up, tells those Jews, you're the children of the devil. They considered themselves the children of the God of Israel. He calls the God of Israel, the God of the Bible, the devil, Satan. How can he be as one? How is it that you can come up with this crazy, delusional bullshit? God sent him because he loved the world so much that we would kill him. No, it's not that you're demons, that you killed God's son, even though he wasn't that devilish God's son. But in the same token, you say, but no, God didn't just, he chose to sacrifice himself for the sins of humanity. Bullshit. That bullshit story makes me sick. When you start beating on somebody and then you hang them by the neck and stab them in the ribs, that's not called sacrifice. It's called fucking blatant murder. Let me make something perfectly clear. Anybody who says, oh, he wasn't hung, he was put on a cross. We'll clear that right now. Acts 10:39, Galatians 3:13, you hung him by the neck. It goes by the old Deuteronomy, old hanging tree curse. Everybody been doing public hangings for thousands of years. It was no different back in the days of Jerusalem. And the only reason they hung him, because he offended their Lord. And he offended their culture. And I can tell you, I know that being very well. That being never identified his own name by his physical body and presence. He identified by his spiritual purpose. And the spirit has no name. But if you want to give a label to the spirit, it's based on the purpose. And the spirit at the time named by the body referred to its own being as the spirit of truth. Because the spirit was offering truth. But none of you can get it. It's in your damn chapters, John 16. He makes it clear that former being said, guess what? Refer to me as the spirit of truth. I don't go by human names. And I don't believe in the Christ concept. But you can't put it together for yourselves because you follow a bullshit religion. And the bullshit starts from the top, makes its way to the bottom. And you better know who be the one that putting it all together. Because if you know who putting it all together, it makes sense why it's all fucked up. It's meant to keep you delusional. It's meant to keep you confused. You don't understand the deity you refer to as Jesus the Christ concept, a joke. Let me say something. You don't understand it, those of you that go to church, because you really don't care. Because what you're about is bullshit. You know, you say, Jesus, protect us. How about this? How about Jesus protect you from, protect the people that don't follow him from you who do follow him, because you're fucking insane. How could Jesus and God be one when they're both totally against each other? You don't make sense. And to say he loved you? Oh, no. Some other person named John says he loves the world so much he died for our sins. But from his own lips he says in Luke 14:26, hate your mother, hate your brother, hate your father, hate your sister, hate your spouse, hate your children, hate yourself. You be demons in hell. You be evil flesh. You're made of the evil soils below. So ignore what he says from his own lips And let's listen to what somebody else says because it's more condescending. It tickles your ears, massages your ego. Because that's how pathetic you that follow religion really is. You ignore truth and you embrace lies. You're sickening to me. And if that's what you want to do, you want to follow that lie, continue to do so. Because I don't want you, not physically, not spiritually, in the light of womb. You're not deserving of it if you're going to be that retarded to ignore truth and just embrace a lie. And then you're going to facilitate the lie by spreading the lie. You'd be the blind leading the blind, and you'd be no good for nothing to nobody, not even yourself. Let me make something clear. 33, skinny, bullshit. You only need to type the words, "You're not yet 50, and you've seen Abraham." The battles with the police called the Pharisees were when he was almost 50. And you say he was skinny. He comes in and says, "I'd be eating, I'd be drinking, and I'd be really well off." And yet you call John the Baptist the demon. You say, "I'm good, but I'm eating all the time." The guy wasn't skinny. The body wasn't skinny. I could tell you. I would know that. You wouldn't. And your fictional pictures of what he looked like? Bullshit. Skinny and feminine? A feminine guy? A guy who walks into churches and starts whipping everything all over, grabs tables, flips them upside down in their churches in front of the priest, calls them, "This is the house of thieves, this is the den of thieves." You're telling me that's a sweet little innocent feminine person? That'd be an outlaw. Fighting with cops, fighting inside the churches, flipping stuff over. Don't tell me sweet and innocent. Go fuck yourself. You don't have a clue of who your former deity that you called Jesus the Christ wrongfully, which was the Spirit, and the Spirit was called, at the time, the label and the purpose was called truth. Now it'd be called vindication, because the Spirit be attached to that being, be attached to this being. This being look the identical same, dress the identical same, speak the identical same, and know about the lighted womb. The only story in all your doctrines has been withheld from all of you, because you've got more testaments. You have more than just the 4. You have other ones as well. But that one of Daniel telling you you'd be just carcasses, eating the dead carcasses of animals. They don't want to put that in there and ruin your appetite. They don't want to bring up the book of Enoch because it explains a little too damn much. They don't want to let you know about the 7 books of Moses where he calls the Leviathan and Mephistopheles the devil and conjures them to fight wars with him. Listen, they don't want to tell you these things because it's bullshit politics. And it don't sell. If you want to make a buck, don't buck the system. And I ain't worried about making a fucking buck with the system. I'd rather buck the system. Let me make something clear. I already know, since I was not even able to speak, I knew who the person that they were speaking about was, and I knew it was bullshit because I would know I was there. And I hope you're saying, well, maybe I'm just crazy. That's what they said back then. And if you don't realize it, you just need to go in your stupid book, and after they kill the body, one of the guards comes up, judge, and says, "Seems like the body was resurrected. It's no longer in the tomb." They believe the deceiver got out. They refer to that body you called Jesus Christ as he was the deceiver. Those working in the institutions called him the deceiver. It's in your book. You can go check it out, but no, you're too lazy and too stupid. So if you got something different to say about what I got to say, you need to shut your anus because you're no good for nothing, including yourself. And you sure as fuck don't need to go to that light of womb. You stay in the dark room. You're comfortable here. You be the weeds. You see, we want to talk about the parables about the weeds and the wheat. Well, it's simple. The weeds be deeply rooted into the soils and they're prickly, and I ain't going to put my hands on there and rip it out. Let me say something about the wheat. Lightly rooted, soft and cuddly and fluffy. Lightly, I'll pull that out. That coming out. Let me make something clear. There will be a great division, a great rapture, because the spirit of vindication is about division. Vindication is division. And I'm going to tell you, the season of division is on you. You've created your own seeds of destruction by manufacturing nuclear weapons. This is a timing. This is a timing for you. This was not your own invention and your own design and timing based on your own thought process as a human race. There's another race that they're the ones who put this together. And that's because they know the timing that you don't. They know you're scheduled to perish. And that's the best part. 10 years ago when I was reminded, over 10 years ago, when I was reminded you were scheduled to perish, that's when I was given the option. I thought it was about my common law spouse and kids. I made the agreement. I will sacrifice anything for their being. I didn't realize that they weren't talking about just my ex and my kids. I had no idea at the time. Because when you just be waking up and your family just took off on a long vacation, the only thing you care about and concern yourself with, you're willing to die for them as long as they make it safe. And somehow the miracle happened when they got a head-on collision with a big truck and a big trailer at 120, and they all lived without barely a bruise. I thought it was for them. It only took me 2 days later to realize. I now know what they're talking about, scheduled to perish. I didn't even use the word perish once in my life. Not once in my life until that day did I ever use or hear the word perish. I didn't even care about the word. Now I'm telling you, you're scheduled to perish, and why I'm here inside this terrarium is not because I plan to stay, because I'd be planning to be leaving. And when I leave, I take who I take. And I assure you, your every stupid thought in your head. You got cell phones, you've got laptops, you've got televisions. The airs be distributing all the sights and sounds of what you see on a television screen, a laptop screen, or your cell phone screen. Airs be more magical than you could ever imagine. They distribute information. Your thought processes be distributed. Whatever you've been hiding inside your little tiny head, as you call it. You might as well have gotten to the top of a building and screamed at the top of your fucking lungs. You are evil as a species. Not your fault you were designed that way, but you still be evil. You don't need to be judged. Judgment was rendered since the fucking foundation of this creation of the dark womb. There was known that the soils could only produce one type of design. In the animal kingdom, the fishy kingdom, the birdie kingdom, they live off one of each other in a food chain, a recycle environment that's based on negative charged energy. Even the airs you breathe be negative charged energy. You think because you see a little bit of sunlight in the day, well, we've got a lighted atmosphere. Bullshit. You be in the house, the sun be at the top of the horizon, at the top of the day, and it's beautiful inside your windows. Just shut your curtains and your door. The airs be dark in your room already. Guess why? The airs didn't run down from the top of the ceilings of the top of the atmosphere inside. They closed the windows, the drapes, and the door. So let's go run over there. It's because the dark predominant airs 24/7 are always there. You only get the illusion with a little bit of the day of sunlight that those dark airs are no longer prevalent. They're there 24/7. Your shadows prove that when you walk in front of the sun, or a tree or a building's in front of the sun. Your shadows prove the dark airs are predominantly there 24/7. It is a sunlight that is not there 24/7 predominant. You are ruled and fueled by dark charged energy. This is what you were told in the past. This is what you're being told again. And I'm telling you about the lighted womb one more time because that's what's missing in your books. That's what's been missing in history. They failed to put that portion in. And I'm going to make it clear for the last time because I'm at the end of this sickening fucking vacation. This pathetic fucking terrarium. This terrarium of fucking retarded inhabitants. And I feel sorry for every one of you because you all be fucking sorrowful, putting on your fake smiles, talking your wonderful stories about how you love the world, you love each other. It's sickening, it's repulsive, it's a fucking lie. And I'm going to tell you, that's why I can never look any of you in the eye. That's why I can't really have a conversation. It's small talk for seconds and I'm out of there. I can't stand a human being. Your sickness is too fucking obvious to me. And I can't stand it. And while you're trying to tell me this with your lips, I'm reading your thoughts with your eyes and I'm seeing what you're really thinking. And it be the opposite of what you're saying. And it sickens me while you try to fool me. That's why I can't even have friends. I can't have girlfriends, nothing. Because you're repulsive as a race to me. And right now it's coming down, it's winding down, and I'm making it clear right now. What you called Jesus Christ is incorrect. The spirit that was attached to that body beast, it's equally attached to this one. And I'll tell you about your cross theory. It makes total sense if you actually use your brain, as you call it. Let's just look at it. Grave markers about yay big made with 2 twigs. Simple stuff. It's called a cross. They'd make you carry it across your shoulder like a fucking wedding ritual to your death when they hung you. When they'd hang you, you carried it across proudly because you're crossing the physical plane to the spiritual plane. The cross you hear about the guy you called Jesus being tossed back at the guards, and the guards get some guy named Simon of Cyrene to pick it up and carry it in his place and walk like a goddamn wedding ritual. It's a fucking joke. There was no big fucking heavy 2 sets of logs that a strong man couldn't carry up a hill. It was a fucking cross about this big. Today you wear it around your neck. It's just a miniature version of what you'd carry across your shoulder. That was a ritual. And I swore I would never be part of human rituals carrying that sucker. And I won't be part of your human concepts and rituals today. So when you see any of my messages, now you understand where I stand, and I stand behind every word firmly 100%. I will never back down. I was never stupid enough to say who I really was to my parents, to my friends as a kid, because I know you're sickening, fucking pathetic, disgusting, grotesque human race. We need to help him. We have an injection needle. We're trying to help you. I was never stupid enough to tell you that as a child or a teenager because I know your natures. You kill and rape each other in foreign lands. You rape each other in mental. The fucking people working in psychiatric aids rape people in the institutions of psychiatric help. They fucking beat people and give them needles. They give them needles? Don't tell me how good your species is and how helpful you are to each other. I see it in the homelessness. I see it in the hungry. I see it in the fucking prostitutes and why they're fucking so despaired because they were raped as children and they were ignored by the adults. And then the cops go, I feel sorry for them. I see the look in their eyes as children and I feel sorry for them. But then when they become adults and they're hooking on the streets, the cops are beating them. The cops are raping them, arresting them. It's the same eyeballs. Just different you. Just different you. Now you can get away with it behind your cement walls. You can hurt them now instead of the priests. Let me tell you something about your sickening, fucking grotesque world. And your sickening fucking race, your fake heroes, your fake officials, authorities, and superiors. I will never play into your game, your human concepts. We got this on bark, man. We wrote it. Yeah, it's written on bark. These are your laws, your policies, your legislations. These are your doctorate degrees. These are your passing grades. Fuck you, they're written on paper. You bring concepts to life to devaluate human life. Go fuck yourself with your concepts, your rituals, your fake beliefs in religions, your fake beliefs in money and governance and the rest of it, and your bullshit in the media smiling into teleprompters. Go fuck yourself on every level, and every one of you, from the homeless to the smallest jobs to the highest executive positions. Go fuck yourself. You're a this, you're a that, I'm a that. I'm going to do this because I'm going to become a that. False labels, make-believe games. You start in the schools, you start playing in the playgrounds going, I'm a this or that. You become an adult and you get paid to pretend to be a this or that. That's what makes you fucking mentally retarded. You're no different than a stage actor. You throw on a jersey, you throw on a uniform, you play like they do on a stage. I'm now a cop, I'm now a lawyer, I'm now a judge, I'm now a doctor, I'm now a social worker, I'm now a CSR customer service representative. I guess what I am? I'm a fleet manager. Guess what? You're a fucking human. And you make me sick to the bottom of my stomach. You make me sick with your flatulent opinions. Your monkey-minded morons have never been something I've liked. Not since the very beginning. I've been fighting with you since I've been a child. As a teenager, it'll never quit. And I'm going to tell you something. The day's coming of division. Vindication is here right now, and I say it proudly. My name is irrelevant in physical human terms. I don't care about my human name no more than I cared about a fictitious human name back in the past, 2,000 years ago, when I was attached to a former identically designed body that spoke the same, looked the same, and dressed the same. And I don't care for the retards that go, this guy's, really? Because I can see through you, because I can see through your deceit, and your ugly, ugly, ugly widened eyes and sickening smiles like you're good. Yeah, you put your face on a fucking piece of coroplast saying, elect me, buy from me. Hey, you go and you put on your fake smiles when people walk through church doors and mosques going, hello, partner, how are you? Fuck off with your bullshit fucking moral fucking principles. If you had any moral principles, 90% of the fucking world's corruptions and injustices would not fucking exist today. It's because you're a sickening race that this exists. And I don't care if you see me as crazy. I see every one of you is born with a mental deficiency called humanity. You're all born with that disease. And I'm going to tell you something. I feel so sorry for you. I'm about to end your fucking disease worldwide. Game over.